really fast with just max elixirs and putting on a lot of pressure with Lycanroc GX's Bloodthirsty Eyes. Deck is really more about pure aggression at this point, based on compared to some other decks in this format. Absolutely.
Yeah, he'll be going up against Joey's deck. They have, of course, got the game underway. Joey playing first with that Tapu Lele in the active. And Joey, we've seen his deck a couple of times. It's certainly an interesting one with a couple of interesting additions.
Indeed, it does have the promo Lurantis.
Yeah, the promo Lurantis, I think, in a quick discussion I had with him earlier, was all about basically changing the numbers and putting them in his favour. Starting out with that lovely Bridget, what you want to see. Obviously didn't need to use the Tapu Lele to get there. Grabbing Zorua, and Wimpod, attaching to the Wimpod. Pretty standard start, I think, for this deck.
Absolutely. And obviously we're going to see Alex on the side. He's got a couple options. He can definitely get an Ultra Ball, probably get something out, maybe another Buzzwole, even maybe like Rockruffs, maybe get a Lycanroc GX eventually. So he's going to play that Ultra Ball, ditches Max Elixir and a Guzma for it. Doing a quick deck search right now, trying to see, maybe if he's prized one piece of his puzzle. Maybe he prized a certain Lycanroc or his Octillery Lion or Brooklet Hill or something like that. So I think from this Ultra Ball, he's definitely going to see probably another attacker of some sort, whether that's a Rockruff or a Buzzwole GX.
Yeah, Alex going through his deck, making sure he can get something out. You don't want to be caught with just the one thing in the active. But his setup is comparatively slower. We've talked about this a few times and how Brooklet Hill is so relevant in these decks. So grabbing the Rockruff there, making sure he's got a backup attacker, and the option to play that Bloodthirsty Eyes a little bit later. If you're in Joey's shoes, though, you're probably not too scared. You've got your setup off entirely for free.
Exactly. You do also have that Wimpod with an energy already. He's already forcing Alex to get that Wimpod up early.
Well, there's the one you don't want to see. It is going to be the failed Max Elixir for Alex to start out, but he follows it up with an N, so even though that one failed, he's gone through two, essentially now. One discarded for the Ultra Ball, one failed on turn one, and an N here, so even if Joey had a lot of good things in hand, which he may have been looking pretty positive about it, he is of course going to have to shuffle in and draw 6 new ones. So Alex going through a lot of cards this time.
Yeah, I think that Alex's position is just fine at this point. He can obviously be putting on pressure with that Jet Punch attack that actually does a lot of damage to the bench as well. And as you can see on Joey's side, he does have a lot of Pokemon that are lower on the HP, so smart moves on the Jet Punches can definitely put Joey in a really weird spot.
Yeah, the Jet Punches are going to hurt the Tapu Lele.
Yeah,
it's pretty factual with the Choice Band on there.
Especially with the Choice Band. And we do see that Brooklet Hill that we mentioned earlier allows you to search your deck for a Water or Fighting type. So got a Remoraid with that. And he's actually going to play an Ultra Ball. So discards another Ultra Ball and a Choice Band to be able to do that. Either like a Regirock or maybe like a second Buzzwole at this point I think would make sense.
I mean, at this current juncture, going all in on getting the big Jet Punch would probably be wise. But, at the same time, he's already played his supporter. We know that it's going to be... The Pokemon on the bench are going to be safe and able to evolve from Joey's side of the field, so probably not too panicked. Joey taking a look in the discard, realizing how many key resources Alex has already gone through.
Yeah, and it's only, turn one?
Yeah, I mean, he's powered through... That's 3 Ultra Balls now, 2 Max Elixirs.
I thought you were supposed to go through your resources with Zoroarks. Apparently not.
So it seems to be doing the fighting deck pretty competently.
Yeah. So Alex is going to go for that Jet Punch. Going to do a nice 60 damage to the Tapu Lele and opts to put 30 onto that Wimpod. Really strong turn one for Alex.
Yeah, Wimpod looking like the threat there.
Yes, we do see Joey draw for his turn. Notably, that damage on the Wimpod is the perfect place to have it. It forces Joey to hopefully evolve sooner rather than later, otherwise that will be a very dead Wimpod. We do see him going for the Ultra Ball here with discarding in Grass Energy, as well as, see, a Field Blower.
Yep, smart discards there, but first thing he gets is a Zoroark. Get that tradability online as soon as possible, then you're able to start powering through the deck. So, smart plays. Looks like another Ultra Ball there from Joey to grab, I believe, the following Zoroark. Oh no, Tapu Lele in this instance puts it down to reveal his follow-up supporter there. So, both trainers going pretty quickly through with the Ultra Ball, seeing why it's such a staple at all times, but...
Which is expected with a Zoroark deck. They're known for just blowing through everything, as we've stated before.
Yeah, I mean, you probably think in this case, he'd love to be able to find a Floatstone and a Golisopod to try and get some big damage out with First Impression on this turn. But, Joey the only one shuffling about there, so...
Do you see him drop that Sycamore, allowing him to get a full hand of 7 with nothing to discard from it? Hopefully it will allow him to dig a bit more to get what you just described.
Yep, he starts out the turn with a trade, or starts out the follow-up after his Sycamore with the trade, so he's essentially works out at 8 cards in hand now. Nice big hand, especially after the N. He got to play most of the cards that he got from the N. Does get one of the pieces he wants, the Float Stone, onto the first Tapu Lele with the damage, but replaces it with another Tapu Lele, so probably not going to be able to get the big damage play as he passes over to Alex.
Oh, wow. This is actually a really big turn for Alex to be able to capitalize on that. Obviously, Golisopod is one of the things that puts out the most damage in this deck, generally. So if you can get rid of that Wimpod, whether that's through the use of a Bloodthirsty Eyes from a Lycanroc GX to be able to bring it up, or just something as simple as a Guzma, we could see a really devastating turn for Joey here, and Alex being able to capitalize on that.
Yep, Alex playing down the Sycamore, drawing up a fresh 7. He's already got 2 Rockruffs on the bench, so he only needs 1 Lycanroc to get the Bloodthirsty Eyes, and either deal with the Wimpod before it becomes a Golisopod, or just start hitting that Zoroark for big damage. He definitely has the options there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do see a lot of options in this hand. Octillery is there, and I think Octillery is something you could probably play down right now. I like the energy switch play, putting that on that fighting energy from the Buzzle GX onto one of the bench Rockruffs. Raymarade does not evolve into Tapu Lele, so we're going to see Raymarade evolve into Octillery. You're going to use that Abyssal Hand to draw up to 5. I think if you're Alex, you really want to find a Locking Wreck GX here.
Yeah, I mean, the really nice play here as well is being able to put that strong energy down onto the Buzzwole, so if he can grab something like the Wimpod, he'll still be able to do enough damage to knock it out.
Absolutely.
The Choice Band, of course, not being effective there, but at the end of the turn, he doesn't quite get there. He ends up putting the main damage down on Tapu Lele.
Yeah, definitely. So just see the Jet Punch. Going to go ahead and do a nice 80 damage to that active Tapu Lele. And it looks like he's going to opt to put 30 on the other batch Tapu Lele. So
going into Joey's turn, we see he benches that Mew EX, which is a pivotal card for this matchup. It completely goes through Buzzwoles with its ability.
Yep, Joey getting another Float Stone on another Tapu Lele after it got Jet Punched. But hopefully he's got something a little bit stronger to get in there, and this Mew would be absolutely fantastic. Of course, he's going to have to find some energy to be able to activate the Versatile, and he plays a Sycamore with a lot of his hand still remaining there, so a large number of cards heading into the discard from Joey. But I think with the speed that Alex is getting up, especially the amount of damage he's putting out with this Buzzwole, decided to basically say, hey, I need something for this Mew or this Golisopod this turn. Does attach the energy to Mew, so that will be able to come up as long as he can just make sure he get that target on the knockout.
Exactly. He does go for a trade, or I couldn't tell if it was for a trade or a...
The Ultra Ball was for a trade. He drew 2 off it.
He did that. He did going through his discard again, looking for his... There we go. So it was an Ultra Ball. He's probably going to go for that Golisopod right now. Possibly this other Zoroark, but I would really like to see that Golisopod come out and just start smacking.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing here is he could use Mew to deal with the Buzzwole, and then he's got Golisopod ready to go, as these Lycanrocs probably are then forced into to be the attackers, and you look at the bench, okay, yeah, he can bring Mewtwo up for a turn, but you've still got the energy switch onto the Rockruff, indicating that the next point of call for the damage on Alex's side is going to be something like that Lycanroc.
We did see him get that Zoroark GX, though, which will allow him for another trade, letting him dig even deeper into his deck, getting everything he needs. And now we see the Mew EX come up, and I have a feeling we are going to see a lot of damage, and a Gun as well.
A selection of attacks that you could be copying in most instances, but this time there's only one available to him. The Riotous Beating, copied from that Zoroark, will be enough with the Buzzwole Psychic weakness. And I think the concept of just teching in these Mews and Mewtwo's to prey on that weakness is fantastic play.
Yeah. So going into Alex's turn, he actually has a couple options this turn. Promotes the Rockruff, so we could eventually see a Lycanroc GX come out if he wants to just get rid of this Mew with a Dangerous Rogue. Another option he has, I saw a Max Elixir in his hand, so he could Max Elixir onto the Mewtwo, attach manually to Mewtwo, or he could even watch and learn if he really wanted to, I guess.
Yeah, the first card out on the Max Elixir is going to be the Fighting Energy, and then he just manually attaches. The other one, he has got the Watch and Learn ready to go, and we've seen some big plays over the course of this weekend with the Watch and Learn, and after you take such big damage, bringing it up isn't a bad thing. Unfortunately, it depends on what Joey declared as the attack to take the knockout there, because then that's going to be reliant on what gets watched and learned. Right. And you want to be able to get this Mew knocked out. That's
yeah, so it really all depends. Thing. I wouldn't see why he wouldn't have done Riotous Beating, but he very well may have done Psychic.
Yeah, I mean, it appears that he had to do the Riotous Beating to guarantee a knockout there.
Yeah.
And then, hey, pretty simple, just get it up there. That's going to be enough. Obviously, Mew EX being so low on hit points, especially now we see Pokemon regularly over 200. Mew EX kind of
yeah, absolutely.
an older EX.
So we're going to go ahead and see Alex Hill use that watch and learn to copy what Mew copied with Versatile. That's a lot of copying going on. That was the Riotous beating there, which is exactly enough damage to knock out that Mew EX.
Yep, fantastic play there by Alex to match up the prizes at 4-4 in this first game of this quarter-final. We do see Joe's bench now down to just 4, so if he wants the full power Riotous beating, he's going to have to find something else, but you do have to wonder, does he want to go after that Sudowoodo? You can't leave it there because then it'll just start watching learning your big attacks over and over again, but at the same time, you can really shut down Alex by getting rid of these Rockruffs.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. We do see the second trade coming in, getting him an N as well as a choice band. He also drew a DCE, so he could power up a Zoroark or go in for a energy onto that Wimpod, hoping for the Golisopod, getting that crossing cut.
Yeah, I will say it's been a while since Wimpod hit the bench, and of course it's not evolved yet, so you do have to wonder about the location of these Golisopod. 1, maybe even 2 prized. It just seems very odd that he went all in so early and we've just not seen any follow-up to that. He does play the double puzzle of time though, and after Alex was having a little peep in his discard, after asking of course, because it is exceptionally polite to do so, Joey now has the option to go in and grab some cards from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do see Joey go for the double puzzle of time there. Kind of taunting Mew.
Yeah, I mean,
I think he needs to go for that. It works exceptionally well against Alex's deck. It sways matchups so well.
yeah, he's definitely taking his time with this one. He wants to make sure he gets the right call. Looks like one of them is going to be an Ultra Ball. He's placed that down, so he's just making a decision on the second. And before he does that, a little peep over on Alex's side in the discard too. So what they've used in terms of resources is becoming very important here. And Joey is umming and ahhing over the second one. He's going to grab another puzzle back, though.
Interesting choice, I think.
I think it kind of makes sense, though. I think Joey wants to search out his Golisopod at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Ultra Ball is great, just because he will be able to straight up look for it. Going to discard the N and the Choice Band to play that one, and he finally gets through to that Golisopod, so they weren't at least both trapped in the prizes.
Right.
He's definitely having a good rummage through, though, after he completes that search.
Indeed. So right now, I am expecting to see this come up, this Golisopod come up and knock out this Sudowoodo, which would be great for Joey, putting Alex at a little bit of a predicament here since he doesn't have anything major on his bench.
No, I mean, everything that's on his bench either doesn't hit hard enough or needs to evolve, and it seems to be the problem is finding those Lichen Rocks. In the same vein that Joey's only just got to his Golisopod, Alex still hasn't got to his...
We do see the Guzma going for that Rockruff, knowing that potential for Lichen Rock is real here. He needs to get that out of play.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing here is he can knock that out with First Impression, and then, there's obvious plays to be able to copy First Impression, but it's still not going to quite be enough. That Sudowoodo will be able to watch and learn it this turn, assuming it makes its way into the active, but, Golisopod's taken a good amount of damage, but it still won't be enough,
And I think kind of going into Alex's turn here, it looks like he's going to bench the Remoraid real quick. I think really what you want to do, yep, there we go. We're going to see him go ahead and Guzma that Zoroark. Going to use that Watch and Learn since First Impression was declared last turn and Pseudo is on the bench. It's going to do 240 with that weakness. So really quick turn from Alex, and he is ahead on prices right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's ahead by 1 prize, and Sudowoodo is taking all of the knockouts right now.
Yeah, all of them. Never thought I'd see a tree, or a fake tree, taking all these knockouts.
Yep, just trying to hide amongst the Trevenant there, as you see in the fantastic card art. But it's so strange that you're letting him get away with it over and over again. Yes, the Rockruff was important to knock out, but at the same time, we hadn't seen any Guzmans from Alex, so you had to be aware of that play being potential.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, I do think the biggest threat on Alex's side is that Sudowoodo, and it possibly should have went out last turn with the knowledge that we have not seen those Guzmas. But we do see Joey go for the N here, ending Alex down to 2, getting him 4 fresh cards, in hopes that he can start making a comeback.
No, just 3 for Joey, but he's
Just 3,
going to be
okay.
able to trade. The 3 for him is more valuable than the 2 for Alex, because that 3 can very quickly get turned into 5, essentially. If he doesn't have what he wants on the 3, trade it, see where you end up.
Right.
There's one thing he didn't want. It's the Lurantis promo, I
Lurantis.
believe.
Right, we do see that retreat. Going back into our Golisopod friend here, going to take that knockout on that threatening Sudowoodo.
I think that was definitely the correct call here. I mean, now it really is tough one for Alex to deal that big damage right now.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd look at on Joey's side is maybe trying to get some damage off on that Goliath pod.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have a second wind pod ready to go.
Yep. And I'm not entirely sure on the counts of what Alex has left. But if you can't find a Lycan Rock and Energy in a choice band, that's a knockout with Dangerous Rogue on that Goliath pod that looks like it has 30 damage on it.
It does from the Jet Punch earlier this game.
Yes, absolutely. So if you can find those cards, and I think it's not too impossible just because he has that Artillery in play, so he can use Abyssal Hand to go up to 5.
Yep.
So,
well, he's definitely charging up one of his Rockruffs, so he's making a big gamble here,
yes.
making sure he gets the Lycan Rock into play. That's really what he wants.
Yeah, definitely. So he did hit that Max Elixir there. I did see another energy in hand as well that he can just attach manually, either to maybe like the Mewtwo or something like that. Oh, he's going to go ahead and attach to the Lycan Rock.
Well, all in on this Rockruff, the Abyssal Hand to start out.
He does have the choice band that he needs.
Still no Lycan Rock, though.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait, and I know that Alex does play the 2 Lycan Rock GX, so looks like gonna go ahead, play that. Gonna go ahead, Tapu Lele, get him an N. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a very thin deck right now.
Yes, absolutely.
He knows there's one in there. He can see it. He's literally looking through his deck,
Yeah,
so there's
now,
no doubt. He just needs to hit
Part of
it.
me is wondering if he's gonna play the N because he has a Professor Sycamore in his hand, so maybe he's just thinking his deck out at that point. So, yep, Professor Sycamore. Gonna get him 7 cards. Come on, Lycan Rock, come out to play.
Oh,
That's rough.
Yep, looks like he whiffed it on the last one. Looked to be a Buzzwole that he actually drew. So Professor Sycamore not paying off for him in this time.
Not helping at all.
He's got so few cards in deck, but the problem is there are definite plays to be made here on Joey's side. You know, if he can pull out another Guzma, that Lycan Rock, my apologies, Regirock.
Yep, yeah,
tasty.
Crossing Cut GX can pretty much knock out a lot of GXs on Alex's side, whether that's Tapu Lele or the Regirock because of the weakness or anything like that. So this is a really fragile board state for Alex. So he's going to touch the Floatstone to the Mewtwo. I think he's just kind of like thinning his hand out on the off chance Joey doesn't have this game. Kind of thinking his deck out. Oh, going to see the Floatstone. Let's see what Joey's got. He's going to go ahead and use Brooklet Hill anyway. Pretty good to kind of see what your resources left are. We do see 2 Puzzles of Time in there, so that's, I think, what he needs to hit, because it did not look like he had any Guzmas.
Yeah, I didn't see a Guzma in there, but it looked like his puzzle play from earlier may be coming back.
Yeah.
He just needs to be able to get there. I mean, he's going to end up with a very, very thin deck.
Yeah.
Does have the option to trade twice.
Just once.
Oh, yeah, just once. He did lose one, so, but it's still 2 extra cards. I think he just has to be very careful on how he does it. There's the first trade. Not what he was looking for.
Does get him a Wimpod, but that doesn't help much at this state of the game. He's really looking for anything. He does get that Mallow, though.
Which would have been great if he had, you know, that second Zoroark, but...
Yeah, you see him there pull out the double puzzle. I believe he's just going to put that right down on the top, because he's not really in a huge danger right now, unless, of course, he gets caught by the Rockruff.
Yeah.
But I think now, he's missed out on what he needs that turn. If you're Joey, is there anything else you can do in this turn?
I mean, you can always, I think he had a DCE in hand, and if you did, you can always attach the Zoroark so you are powered up in case this Gliscopod does go down. At this point, he needs to play a little bit defensive.
I mean, he can't afford the Gliscopod to go down. It's the last 2 prizes.
True. But other than that, like, he really can't. He has to retreat and go in with that Zoroark and save it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he has to bank again on Dangerous Rogue, or Bloodthirsty Eyes into Dangerous Rogue not being available for Alex on this turn, and you've got to wonder, like, how much longer can you cling on without him finding that Lycan Rock?
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh, full bench from Joey there.
Does look like he will be going into that play for the Zoroark because he is putting down these basics from Mantis as well as a Wimpod, but he is also toying with the idea of doing Crossing Cut GX to get out.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fine play at this point. Maybe, like, if Alex really needs to attack, but at the same time, like, he wants a Lycan Rock, and that has the Gust effect anyway.
Yeah, the Lycan Rock wins it, either way.
I think Joey's just kind of playing to all his outs at this point, so, which I don't blame him. That's kind of what you have to do. So, I'm going to go into Alex's turn now. He's looking through his resources, trying to figure out, hey, what do I have left? So we're going to see what he draws. Oh, a Professor Sycamore. That's huge.
Yep, Sycamore.
And he has both Lycan Rock left in deck. Oh, boy! Trying to use a Brooklet Hill. He's just going to fail it, just kind of seeing what's going down.
Yep.
He is going to bench the Buzzwole with the Strong, just to be safe. Put a Floatstone, Abyssal Hand for 1, Professor Sycamore, and there's 7 cards left, and as long as Alex... Yep, there we go. Lycan Rock GX is going to pull up one of those GXs, and going to use Dangerous Rogue for the knockout, and Alex Hill takes game number 1 against Joey Ruettiger.
Yeah, really, really smart play there, and at the end, I think both trainers kind of blew up a little bit in the middle. There was lots of damage going out, some quick exchanges, 2 from Sudowoodo, a couple from Joey's side with Gliscod and such, but
Yes.
the big thing there was actually Alex still slowed him down by the way he was taking prizes. So yes, they were tied 2-2 prizes at the end, but Alex did it in 2 attacks, while it actually took Joey 3 different knockouts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was really doing part of that Sudowoodo. That Sudowoodo is absolutely game-changing there.
Definitely.
Just that watch and learn, being able to copy all those big-name attacks and being able to, use that fighting weakness to do that same damage and knock out stuff like Zorg that's weak to fighting.
Yeah, and that's a 1 prize card taking 2 prizes. Those trade-offs just don't add up in the end.
And the fact he let him do it twice, you have to wonder if you're Joey, can you afford to do that again? I don't think you can,
Not at all.
but there's other options around there.
Right, there are. And I think going into the next game, he needs to watch out for that Sudowoodo and get it out of the play as fast as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another thing that Alex needs to look out for in this game is that BBX. He was lucky enough to be able to take that down game 1 within 1 turn, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But I know that we've seen some games where the Mew sticks around for more than 1 turn.
That was
and then it can be
Sudowoodo's
really
first scalp
devastating.
that came up, and that was the kind of the awkward thing is Mew had to declare such a powerful attack in Riotous beating that it was then viable to get watch and learn. I
Right.
think maybe Joey needs to look around a little bit about how he does that damage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just try and not go with always the big attack, because then Sudowoodo is going to be able to take
Sudowoodo's gonna
advantage.
obliterate.
And there was that time where he could have used the puzzles to get that Mew back. I'm wondering if he possibly should have at that time.
It was interesting because
yeah.
even though he didn't get the Mew back, we only saw the late Buzzwole from Alex.
Right.
But it would have been, more of an attempt, I think, to play the game rather than just relying on what he had on the bench.
Yeah. Kind of going off of that, also, you said that there were no Buzzwoles on the game until, late game after he had taken that knockout with Mew EX. You got to remember that Mew EX is only 120 HP. That isn't easy to prizes if you can get the right resources.
There's so many ways to do it in this deck as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, Buzzwole can deal the damage. You can definitely get the damage from.
Yep, we're going to go ahead and go to game 2, and I'm going to assume Joey's going first. Yep, there we go.
I think with the lone Wimpod, you definitely want to go first.
Oh,
and,
I hope so.
I think it's the old traditional coming out. Tapu Lele into Bridget. And let me guess, 2 Zeroas and a Wimpod? Or is he
Possibly.
going to throw me
Are
the
we taking
curveball?
bets?
Oh,
It could be 3 Zeroas.
that'd
It
be
could
wild.
even be... No, it can't be 4, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a little bit ambitious.
The
Maybe
thing about Bridget is you can only get 3.
Womp womp. Or 1 EX. You could get the Mew EX if you
or
wanted
3
to.
basic GXs. Oh no, he's thrown me. He's absolutely done me a kipper there. I've been caught with the triple Zorua Bridget, so I look a fool. Apologies to
That is
everyone at
true.
home who was unsure at that.
This is the new thing we've been seeing all weekend.
Triple Zora was, yeah.
Yeah, but he did double Zorua Wimpod game 1, so how was I to know?
Probably just trying to switch things up, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
It's
I don't know if it's
fantastic.
like a fashion choice or...
Plastic. All right.
It's nice being able to have the Zoruas because they can evolve into Zoroarks. Then you just go ham on your trades. So it's fantastic. We do see him play. Is that energy
I
on
mean,
that
that-
Wimpod?
Yeah, energy on the Wimpod and retreated. Alex just has to play floats
Well,
on
he
his
didn't
lane
retreat. He was wimping out to get no retreat cost. I'd like everyone to shame the Wimpod for wimping out.
What a win. Oh, man. No shaming on this stream.
Only of Wimpods.
Only of Wimpods. Okay.
Bullying.
Please no.
So we're going
Yeah.
to see Alex go ahead and play the end.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what he played, a floatstone and an N does
That's
not
really not
does not
impressive.
spell inspiration for the opening hand.
Yeah,
I'll put
I
it
mean-
that
Not at all.
way.
Yeah, and I mean, that Mewtwo takes 2 energy. Alex doesn't play double colorless energy, so Alex probably won't be attacking if he can't find anything off of this end.
Definitely not.
So both players going to go ahead and get a fresh 6 cards, and there's a Sudowoodo.
There's
Boy, oh boy.
Sudowoodo and a fighting energy, so Alex playing the same game.
He has an attack. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, Alex looks like he wants to do the same thing. Wait for Joey to throw damage at him and return fire.
Absolutely.
Pretty simple, really.
Yep.
You do end up seeing this Gliscod come down turn 1, which is great compared to last game, as well as the Tapu Lele going in for a Wonder Tag.
Joey's bench is full of goodies already. He's been able to play 2 Tapu Lele. He's got his Gliscod ready to go. The interesting thing will be what will he be able to do in regards to getting an attack off. He does need a way to get Tapu Lele out the active. Float stones again. He had double float stones on his Tapu Leles in game 1. It'd be fantastic to replicate that. But again, probably going to be in that same kind of sticky situation if he starts taking these 1 prize knockouts with his 2 prize attacker.
Exactly, especially with that Sudowoodo on the bench just lurking, ready to prey on whatever he gets.
He was
Yeah.
debating on that end, but ended up going with the Cynthia, refreshing only his hand for a good 6.
I mean, the big thing here, though, is if he does manage to get Tapu Lele out, switch in the Gliscod, take the first impression damage, would be falling short.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
If he had some way of getting it over the hill, I don't think he does against that regular Mewtwo. So unless he finds his wait some time and then finds his lone Professor Kukui.
He did end up getting the float stone off of that trade with the Zoroark coming in from that Cynthia.
Yep, there's the float stone come down. Also,
boy.
field blowered away the float stone on Alex's Mewtwo. So that's really, really nice from there. It is going to retreat it out into the Gliscod.
Yep.
Nicely played to get that attack going a little bit earlier. He's going to start powering up a Tapu Lele here with the following Grass Energy. And a full 120 going down on Mewtwo. Not enough for the knockout, though.
Yeah, so going into Alex's turn, he did top deck the Ultra Ball, so he can get out a Pokemon of his choice, maybe a Buzzwole, maybe a Rockruff, something like that he can put on his bench to be able to sort of put some more pressure on Joey. Did see him eye the Buzzwole up to the top, and he did have quite a few strong energy in hand if I saw correctly, so he can definitely put strong energy on there, maybe do some jet punches, put some early pressure on.
Yep.
And
That's
Cynthia.
the standard play. Get your Buzzwole on, get your strong energy out. But he is probably going to be left with Mewtwo in the active. Looks pretty bleak from there. That 2 retreat cost is going to be pretty much impossible to play this turn with no double colorless in the deck.
Yep, he does play 4 Float Stone, though. You got to remember that.
Yeah, but the problem is that you can float stone it away. But you just have to be a little bit careful. He's not really got a full bench of easy switching options.
Right.
Does get a Brookless Hill out of it, so can start searching and filling that bench a little bit easier.
At this point, do you think Remoraid or Rockruff? What's the better play?
I
Assuming
think-
that he has no other search in his hand.
Considering the Buzzwole's in play, and he's able to start dealing big damage with Jet Punches, Rockruffs, assuming not all the Zoruas evolve, or even if they do become Zoroarks, if you have the option to Bloodthirsty Eyes, that'd be nice. But he does have a good amount of deck to still go through for one of these decks that pulls through it quickly, and
Yep, definitely.
Octillery's going to help him do that.
Yeah, and we do see him just go ahead and go for the Remoraid. I think that's a good play. Next turn, he can eventually get that Octillery out and be able to draw some more cards, which is really good. So from here on out, I think Alex is probably just going to pass his turn. I mean, he can't get the Mewtwo out of the active, so yep.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing else.
Over to Joey as well. Still got that Gliscod in the active. Only a single energy on it, but probably not looking to make any crazy big plays this time. I mean, it could be interesting to see him make a big play, but I don't think he's going to waste a big move. Would be nice, I'd argue, to work around that Mewtwo, because it's not doing anything right now. It's not got energy on it, it's got a lot of damage on it, so it can't take attacks. Maybe start going after this Sudowoodo, just so you don't fall foul of a watch and learn.
Exactly. That, like we saw in the last game, that Sudowoodo is a giant threat. We do have the Sycamore, where he will be getting a fresh hand. He does get that DCE, so
It's 2 DCEs.
So it'll be interesting to see if and where he places it. But instead, he goes for a trade right now, netting him another supporter for next turn.
Yeah, he's not short of resources in his hand right now. 2 double colorless energies of such as well. And the option to trade twice. We've seen a couple of big trades there. As he pulls a field blower off the trade and just decides to remove the Brooklet Hill from Alex's side. Of course,
It's a fantastic play because now Alex has such a low bench, he's not going to be able to easily get something out just by saying, I'm going to go look in my deck right now.
Yep. And we do see the knockout there. Mewtwo goes down. Alex is promoting the Remoraid, which I find to be kind of interesting. So maybe that means he has like a Guzma play or something like that. But kind of looking at his hand, I don't see anything like that. I see Lichen Rocks, I see Energies, Tapu Lele. All right, seems good.
Tapu Lele was lurking in the back of his hand there, and
Yeah.
it comes out. So basically, yes, if he's going to go for it, Guzma's the play. But Joey only able to use First Impression.
Only for 30, yeah.
Yeah, so even if if he does bring in that Sudowoodo, then hey, it's only going to do 30. So he's probably forced to play the Buzzwole.
Yeah, and even if he wanted to like watch and learn on like a Zoroark, he would only do 60. Actually, it copies the first attack, right? Not like the amount of damage.
Yeah, so First Impression's definitely an option
Sudowoodo is
there.
on the bench, so he can use that Guzma, attach an energy, bring up a Zoroark,
Oh.
use Watch and Learn to copy First Impression, take the knockout, since that Sudowoodo is on the bench right now.
Yep, Sudowoodo definitely able to do exactly what it did in Game 1. Fantastic play there from Alex. You have to imagine he's going to declare it.
Yeah, Alex is really putting up a fight right now. So
I don't even think the game even came that far out. Sudowoodo
Yeah.
fantastically maneuvered around there, and
Yeah.
another scalp, a 2-prize scalp for Sudowoodo.
really good play there by Alex. And now he's got a 1-prize attacker in the active, which kind of messes up with Joey's math.
Right. So even if we do see that Golisopod come out and knock it out, Joey is still going to be behind. But we have the puzzle of time coming in. What do you think he's going to go for?
He's got a number of things in there that he needs to consider. I mean, he has just lost, of course, his Zoroark, and he has his Arua ready to go. So if he wants to keep up with the trades, that's a smart play. But I think he also has to start looking around for a way to get back some of his momentum, because all of the wind got taken out of his sails. You don't know what his draw supporter situation is like. So it looks like he's going to take a Zoroark. I believe it was another Pokemon he took
It's
with
from
him as well.
Mantis.
So maybe it looks like he's going to try and play a bigger late game with that Golisopod.
It also could just be used for trade fodder potentially. But we do see it end up hitting the bench. The first time from Mantis has hit for this game.
It's blooming.
As you hear, Chris is very excited about the
I'm so
prospect of a
excited.
Fomantis. As Joey moving into the portion of the turn where he trades, such an exciting portion of the turn. We see pretty much every game now.
This is more exciting than Palpad. So going forward, it looks like Joey did use that Field Blower to get rid of that Choice Band on Alex's Buzzwole, and ta-da, there goes the end.
Right.
But Joey's done so much in this turn. He's gone through so many cards, and each end is definitely going to punish Alex a little bit, especially because he had these 2 prizes from last time in his hand. All he needs to do now, I think, is switch out or retreat the Tapu Lele with that Floatstone and just start going for it. He did commit one of the double colorless energy to the Golisopod, and that Golisopod's looking pretty safe right now.
Yeah. So Alex is going to get 4 cards off of that. Joey is going to get 5. And we're going to see Golisopod attack. Looks like he's just settling for the first impression. Probably fine.
Yep, no need to do anything else there.
Yeah.
Just make sure you take the knockout.
One thing that's interesting, off that N,
Oh, he
Alex
did have
drew-
the option to armor press and reduce his damage as
yeah,
well.
absolutely. So that may have happened. But we did see Alex get the artillery off that N to 4, so that's going to allow him to draw some more cards, which is going to be huge for him.
Yep. Well, he places the Buzzwole in the active there, the only thing that's really worth having without the ability to guarantee that he ends up with cards, and we do see the Abyssal Hand, but it's looking light there, I think, for Alex.
Yeah.
I do believe that's a max elixir in there.
It is.
But he's got 2 energy in hand.
And
We know the counts are a little bit low. He's already lost 2,
Yeah.
so the max elixir could arguably be a risk.
Yeah, there are a lot of plays that could go through. He does have a Guzma in hand and a Floatstone, so if he wants to, he could Guzma, put his Buzzwole on the bench and attempt to max Elixir, but that's kind of a risky play at this point, if it's not necessarily worth it, and maybe just going for Jet Punch here at this point.
Yep, we do see the Guzma play.
all
So
right.
Zoroark coming into the active.
Drum roll,
There's
please.
the elixir. 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Wah,
So
wah.
whiffing and ending on the next max elixir. Alex was actually telling me earlier he's had a shocker with the max elixirs
man.
this weekend.
Yeah, no, I remember we streamed him earlier today, and he played 6 total on the stream and only hit 1.
Well, seems to be his luck keeping up here. He does Floatstone though. There won't be any knuckle impacts or absorptions from this Buzzwole, but he still has access to a Jet Punch boosted up by 2 strong energy as well.
So it's going to go ahead and do 70. Seems fine. Times the 2 from the weakness is 140. It looks like they're just talking real quick about if Armor Press works with the effect while it goes onto the bench. My understanding is that once something goes to the bench, all effects are null, so I'm going to assume that it will put 30 on there. So, yep,
Hey,
and that is what it's going to do.
Does take the full amount of damage, and that puts him in a really kind of awkward 180 number,
Yeah.
which these decks, I won't say struggle to hit, but it doesn't line up super nicely
So-
with all of these players.
We did see Joey evolve in that Lurantis. Could be a huge player in this match.
Did that Lurantis with its ability allowing Joey to get that extra little bit of damage to help make numbers meet up. We see him end up retreating into the Tapu Lele.
It's actually the Acerola.
The Acerola, my bad.
Honey.
Yeah, the Acerola and Zoroark really big there because a lot of resources are spent trying to knock it out, and he actually changed it up for the Mew. So big turn by Joey here. Going to be able to copy a plethora of
Absolutely
moves,
insane
whichever
turn.
one he fancied, and take the knockout on that Buzzwole. So all that investment fell short of the knockout, which got healed up and taken off the bench. Alex definitely up against it in this one.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you're Alex, you did get that Brooklet Hill. I'm going to go ahead and search for a Pokemon. Maybe it's going to be a Buzzwole. Yeah, it's going to be a Buzzwole. He did also have a Max Elixir in hand. I think that the biggest thing is that that Mew is staring you down, and if you aren't able to get rid of it, that thing's going to destroy you. And not to mention that Joey only has 2 prizes left, so that Buzzwole is some pretty tasty lunch for Mew.
Oh, here goes Alex once again. It's time for the Max Elixir. First one this time. No
Finally hit
doubt
one.
in his mind. Kind of wanted to see the tension as we got to like 3 or 4.
Yeah, you
It's,
know.
it's pretty anticlimactic when you drop it on
So he's going
the
to go
first
ahead,
one.
attach, and play Professor Sycamore. I think that he's hoping to try and find another Max Elixir to be able to, get off a really good attack at this point.
Yep, it's not gonna be
nope,
there.
he's just going to scoop. So, game 3 time.
He knows he didn't have the damage. He was still going to have to Jet Punch, and there were so many plays available for Joey to be able to just grab that Buzzwole and knock him out.
Yeah, definitely. So, absolutely incredible play there by Joey, especially with that Mew kind of coming out of nowhere. That Lurantis coming out too could have made Crossing Cut do 200 damage.
That
which
would have been
is
perfect.
Insane. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been really, really smart to see that. So, overall, though, it definitely picked up a little bit there from Joey, and we
Yeah.
talked about it between game, you pointed it out. Mew, a lot more valuable.
Right. So with Mew here, it's being able to hit those Buzzwolls, being able to just knock things out right away. Despite its small stature in game, with its very fragile HP, it is pivotal to his matchup here to just keep coming back and smacking.
Yeah, Mew, a little bit of a fragile boy in this one, but even though it's fragile in the same vein as Sudowoodo, it only needs to hit you once and take 2 prizes, and it's totally worth it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Definitely. Yeah, so kind of going into game 3, do you guys think there's anything that they need to do differently at this point? Is there anything that they did wrong, or maybe necessarily was kind of questionable? Are there different ways they could go for this game? What do you guys think?
I think
I-
Alex needs to play game 1 again, and Joey needs to play game 2 again.
Yes,
Good point.
exactly.
See, he's smart. That's
Yep, it's pretty simple. Play the game that you won again. But seriously, I mean,
yeah.
the Mew is very valuable there. And I think Joey's adjustment to take out Sudowoodo earlier was what won it that
perfect.
game.
Yeah, it works really well. Sometimes people are really hesitant to take out a 1-prize attacker just because it's only giving up 1 prize. But at the same time, that thing can come out of nowhere and just blow everything up.
Yeah,
So
it was kind of shocking to see it in game 1, sit on the bench, knowing it was there, declare these big attacks that you're just going to be punished for.
Yeah, definitely. So we can definitely see more of that from Joey next game. On the other hand, Alex needs to hit his Max Elixirs. That's all he needs to do.
I would also like to see a full use of the Lurantis.
Oh, yes, that would be great.
I don't think that's too
because
much
we
for
saw
us.
it threatened a little bit in that game. It adds 20 more to each of your Fire and Grass Pokemon, so Golisopod. Crossing Cut does 150, Choice Band's 180. It's 10 short of, knocking out a clean Buzzwole, but with that Lurantis, you can knock it out really easily with
Yeah,
that Crossing Cut.
that's definitely something he has to consider. We do see the starts. You have to imagine Alex will be going first, and he's probably going to need it. The
yeah.
Lone Remoraid in the active here. Brooklet Hill, though, in his hand means he's guaranteed a Pokemon to kick us off. Not going to be caught with any nasty donks or anything.
So, yeah, like you said, going to go ahead and get that Brooklet Hill. I think he's probably going to look through his deck really quick and probably get a Buzzwole after this. Did see some energies, did see some Float Stones in his hand, so he has lots of options if he wants to move Pokemon in certain places and place energy and all of that. So, yeah.
Indeed.
So, kind of going forward, kind of looking through his deck a little more than I'm used to when I'm watching him, and maybe something's prized and he's just double checking. So, just kind of do that. But I see Octilleries, I see Lycanrocs, I see Buzzwoles. I don't know what else he would really want to not be prized.
Yep, I see Buzzwoles, I see Octilleries, I see Fronts, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Key play leg and floats it down on Octillery. It's not going to be trapped in the active. Strong energy onto this Buzzwole, and that hand that had a couple of good things in it. Nothing too spicy though. End away by Alex. So Joey also having to play around with his deck as well, shuffling in. Both players drawing back to 6.
Yeah, so Alex went ahead, played that in, a card that has been in and out of formats and just got reprinted in Fates Collide a couple years ago. So both players going to get 6 cards off of this. And I think if you're Alex, you probably want to get a Rockruff down, probably want to get maybe another Pokemon down in general. So both players are going to cut, and then they're both going to draw 6. We'll have to see what Alex gets off of this.
Drawing on face down so we can't see. Very
Of
smart,
course.
Alex.
Thanks,
Very
Alex.
smart. Appreciated. He does show us the hand. It's full of energy.
That's
Choice
not
band.
a Pokemon.
There's no energy in there, and he puts the Buzzwole up and passes.
Yeah. So we do
Right.
see Fomantis.
Despite Alex not getting his Pokemon, Joey did get that Fermantis as Alex pointed, or as Chris.
Are you getting my name wrong now?
Revenge.
Oh, got me.
We did see that Fermantis come down for Joey. He did get that Float Stone, which is great to get his Zorua out of the active. Currently going through his deck, looking for whatever he may need.
Get him with the Mew. Get him with the Mew.
So one thing that I think is interesting that most players don't think about is Joey actually just used that Brooklet Hill to kind of look through his deck as kind of a search because, he's not guaranteed that he's going to get an Ultra Ball or anything like that this turn. And, sometimes players, when they realize, I'm not playing Water, I'm not playing Fighting Pokemon, the deck is private knowledge, so you're allowed to go ahead and search that and see, maybe what you might get prized or counts and stuff like that.
I mean, what do you think Joey was looking for in there? What was the key thing he said, I need to check this is in there before I start going through this deck?
He was just looking for his counts, probably to see if that Mew is still there since it's a one of. Going in, seeing if any of his Glycopods are prized, just to get a good feel of what he needs to do in order to seal his victory to go on to top 4.
The semifinals.
Semifinals, whatever.
The fancy way to say it.
Oh, thank you.
It's the European way. It's very continental.
The European way. Perfect.
But if you want to get really continental, it's le semi-finals.
Oh my gosh. I can't do that.
You're not French?
What?
He's not classy enough.
Yeah, I'm not classy. I'm just,
It's really
I just
simple. You
pun
say
everything.
le, and then
But
you say the
anyway.
rest of the word in a strange fashion. It works every time.
Yeah.
Anyways, Le Tapu Lele has made it down onto the bench, going with that Wonder Tag, searching for a supporter. What do you think he's going for?
I could see a Mallow. Depending on if you do your Zorks or not.
Yeah, Mallow for next turn would be pretty smart.
Does he play Mallow?
He doesn't. He actually pulls out Acerola. To your question, he does play Mallow, but he pulls out Acerola. They're two separate statements.
Both. Perfect.
It looks like he's I don't know the French for preparing to take damage.
I took French in high school. It's préparer de
Damage.
préparer de damage. Perfect. So
Got it.
Damage.
looks like
Anyway,
Joey's gonna go ahead promote the Tapu Lele GX, noting that Zorua has that fighting weakness, doesn't want it to go down this turn yet. So
if he takes the Jet Punt damage though, he can actually pull it up with the Acerola to use it again
Right.
and keep that string of supporters going on. So Joey may actually be running a little thin on the supporters in his hand.
yeah.
It's over to Alex's turn though, and it's his time to finally get a Rockruff down. That's the ability you can get with Brooklet Hill. You're never short of the old Rockruffs.
Oh yeah. How many hit points does Fomantis have? 50 or 60?
I think it's one of the usual 60s.
I think it's one of the usual 60s. Interesting. So, I mean, Alex could get out a Regirock if he wants to, and potentially swing up that Fomantis with some sort of Gust Effect if he wanted to.
Oh, Max Elixir for
See?
Alex.
He's going to mess it up.
Hey, he did it!
Did it!
Small congratulations for Alex
Yeah.
who's now taking his
Please clap. So, he's going to go ahead and get the fighting energy for that Max Elixir.
Max Elixir's success rate up to 20%.
Yeah, it's like someone watched our stream and just some pixie fairy granted his wish for him.
Well, he's going to need them tight game 3 in
yeah.
obviously the quarterfinals. Those of you just joining us, both these players really, really fantastic runs as we've seen, and this is it. Number 1 seed versus number 8 seed. This
Yeah.
one moving on to top 4.
Yeah, we just saw an incredible play from Alex. He actually used that Guzma to bring up that Zorua, and that was going to be a main attacker. It was going to be a draw support. That can probably mess up Joey's plans.
This has messed up Joey's plans exponentially. That Zorua was probably going to turn into a Zoroark, hopefully this turn, but now he has to go in, reset up with this Bridget.
The fabled turn 3 Bridget, just what
Yeah.
everyone loves to do.
It's better late than never.
Yes, but your success rate, if it's not a turn 1 Bridget, to get that bench set up so you're able to start evolving into everything.
Never say never.
Yeah, he's got to fight back, and that's something we've seen him do a couple times now in these
and
games.
especially
on
when
stream.
you've got $5,000 on the line and 150 championship points. You got to do everything that you can to try and win that.
Yep,
Exactly.
it's the only way to do it. Tapu Lele is going to be remaining up in the active for now as the bench gets filled by, oh look, we're back to 2 Zoruas and a Wimpod. But no, it's
It's like
there.
he heard you.
Huh?
It's like he heard you internally. He heard Adam saying, "Get the Wimpod."
I definitely didn't say it like that. I 100% do not sound
So
like that, Chris.
we're going to go back over to Alex's turn in the meme time. So he's going to attach the Choice Band to the Buzzwole there. He's going to go ahead and use that Brooklet Hill. Regirock could come down, or maybe even second Rockruff would be a pretty good option as well. The Regirock is an interesting option just because it'll make Jet Punch do 90. But having the second Rockruff's good on the off chance that Joey does decide to bring one of those Rockruffs up and try and knock it out knowing that it's a threat. So from there on out, Alex is playing the N. Gonna get 5 cards for Alex, 6 for Joey. I don't know. I like Alex's board. I think it looks really good.
Do you just like the look of it, or do you actually like the Pokemon on it?
I mean, I hate the fact that he's playing promo Buzzwole, but we won't talk about that.
Promo
I think
Buzzwole,
that the set art is much better.
a little bit ugly. I mean, if we're saying look at the board, Joey's board is much neater, but he's got less cards on it, so
Definitely.
easier to keep it tidy. There goes the end draws. A couple of interesting things there for Joey, but we'll see if they come to fruition next turn.
Yeah. Definitely. So, seems like a lot of energy in Alex's hand.
It's a strong, a regular energy.
I saw Guzma, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, there was a Guzma
obviously
on the
can't
front.
play it this turn, but gonna go ahead. Use that Abyssal hand. Draw a card. It's fine.
He has the option to hit with a sizable jet punch.
Yeah, and as we see, Alex actually just used that jet punch for 80 and knocked out that Fomantis. So no longer blooming on Joey's side, but there's still some options.
Not the biggest threat for him, but it is good to get it off the bench. It does allow Zoroark's Rider Speeding to hit for a lot less now, thanks to it being knocked out and only having 3 Pokemon on the bench. As of right now, we do see a Wimpod come down.
And, yeah.
Go
Sorry,
on.
no, you go. No, you go.
I'll adjudicate this. I'll step in.
Sorry.
Tidy up this mess that you two have put us in. The Float Stone being discarded by the Field Blower on Joey's side, so making sure that these plays with Guzma aren't so easy. Probably fearing it a little bit in the following turn. And the Choice Band gone on this Buzzwole as well, so even if he did manage to get Tapu Lele into the active again, he wouldn't be in such a peachy position. But even though he had the Guzma in hand, not going to be afforded the chance to play at the end coming out from Joey, resetting their hands, and again, kind of pushing back on Alex's cards he can pull. He's down to his 4 prizes. Joey's still pulling 6 off these, though.
Exactly. But with Alex having Octillery, that doesn't seem to be too much of an issue. He will be able to go back up to a 5-card hand with Abyssal Hand.
Yeah, I mean, even if the 4 are abysmal, he can deal with it with an Abyssal hand. You like that? Yeah.
Do you see Joey getting that Zoroark, allowing him to start trading, and we see the Lurantis go in and get him 2 new cards. One being, it looked like a Choice Band, and another Wimpod.
This is an awkward position for Joey, I think, because I didn't see any means that he will be able to attack unless I was looking at his hand wrong.
He does have the DCE.
He does, but at the same time, that's Zoroark's weak to fighting.
Exactly.
And that Rockruff has 1 energy on it, so we could see Lycanroc just come up and absolutely smash it. Take a little bit of a dangerous turn. So, I don't know. I think if you're Joey, maybe you just... Oh, I don't even know. It's so tough to pick at this point.
His bench just seems so undeveloped compared to Alex's. I mean, on Alex's side, you've got 2 Buzzwole with the energy to Jet Punch on, 2 Rockrush ready to evolve, and your Octillery. And then you go over to Joey's side, and he's got 3 basics and a Zoroark. So definitely a little bit lighter. And even though Zoroark's going to add additions with trade, you've still got Tapu Lele in the active, which you have to get out. Of course, that won't be any longer, as he does pay the cost to retreat. That's the colorless energy. And he's going to start going for it.
He knows he needs to start getting damage down, even if it does take his Zoroark out. This is going to help him a lot.
At the same time, you have to realize if Alex can get the knockout here, he's 2 prizes away from advancing to the semifinals. So, and that could be really easy, whether that's on that Tapu Lele that already has a lot of damage on it, or even just if that Zoro evolves into Zoroark, or even Golysopods later. And especially with the bench size of 4, Dangerous Rogue is doing a lot more damage.
Oh, Alex is going for it again. A big play coming up here, potentially, as he finally grabs that fighting energy at the last turnover on the Max Elixir. We know he had a handful of energy before, but does he have it now? If he does, then he's going to be able to potentially just knock out this Zoroark and make Joey's bench look really, really weak.
Really abyssal. So the energy, yeah, don't cheat, Alex. So... Yeah,
oh, he's got it. He's got the strong energy in hand as well.
Ooh, and there's a Guzma, but that's not a good way to get out of the active to get rid of the Zoroark, you know? At the same time, maybe just killing the Lele, knocking out the Lele is a good play as well.
Yeah, we see Alex powering up the Buzzwole on the bench. Looks like he's going to go for it. Going to grab the Zorua. Definitely wants to keep those trades down.
That is a very good point. I didn't even realize that.
Yep. Oh, he's going for it. He's going to try and find the Lycanroc to hit it with the Bloodthirsty Eyes. Doesn't get it.
I think he had an Ultra Ball beforehand in his hand, so he could.
Yep.
He could definitely do that. That is huge. So.
He's gone back in the deck. Grabbed another Emerald with the Brooklet Hill.
Yep. Absolutely good. He can eventually get out 2 Octilleries if he wants to. And I think from here, yeah, I think he had an Ultra Ball in hand, so he could get the Lycanroc, bring that Zoroark back up, and clobber. As the Hulk would say, it's clobbering time. I think that Buzzwole is the Pokemon Hulk.
Now we have to pay rights on that.
Oh.
Yeah,
Look what you've
Did
done.
I? Oh, gosh.
look at what
I
you
really?
did.
Oh, okay, I'm good. Okay, I was really scared. I'm just like
Gullible is also written on the ceiling.
Oh no, I'm gonna die. All right, so yeah.
You have been done a bamboozle.
Yeah,
I'm
I've been
so
bamboozled.
sorry.
But he did go for that Lycanroc GX, use that Bloodthirsty Eyes to drag that Zoroark up, and kaboom! Out of nowhere, Alex is 2 prizes away from being in top 4.
Oh yeah, I mean he's played out everything pretty fantastically right now. I mean being able to grab the Bloodthirsty Eyes is nice. And the big thing here is, that Buzzwell's not used as really...
There's not a good way to get rid of it.
There's not, I mean
Mew EX, but at the same time, there's a Lycanroc sitting there that can easily knock that out.
He's also got strong energy in play.
Yeah.
Obviously he can't...
does draw that Zoroark, so he can at least start trading, but he sadly had to send that Wimpod up because he knows about Zoroark's weakness to fighting. He doesn't want to lose it.
Yeah, I mean, you know that he had to use the Knuckle Impact there.
Oh,
so...
At least we do see the Golisopod finally hitting the field, but I have a feeling it might be too little too late unless he's able to get a Grass Energy and a Golisopod onto the bench and then have it somehow come into play.
Well, you could take some damage on it this time, let yourself get caught with a Jet Punch to the face maybe, and then finally play that Ace Roller that he grabbed earlier and wasn't able to play.
Yeah, I think he got rid of the Ace Roller with the trade.
Yeah.
But he did just Tapu Lele for the end, so I think he's just kind of playing to all his outs, hoping that Alex can't draw an energy off of and that he may or may not play.
See, he's debating something right now.
Something spicy.
Decisions have to be made. We see the Tapu Lele receiving the choice band for the N from Joey, so using that prize disadvantage to his advantage for a brief moment for Abyssal Hand just brings him right back up to 5.
Yeah, pretty good trade-off for him.
Yeah, I mean, he gets the new cards, and Alex does get the new cards. It just takes him a little bit longer, and he loses one of his tools for refreshing his hand after he's played his resources once.
Right. So, Joey's going to get 6 cards. Alex is going to get 2. I think if you're Joey, what do you want to draw?
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff. Okay. So he does.
He did get that energy, and if he doesn't have a way to get the current Golisopod out and a new Golisopod in, then he's just going to probably have to attach and do a measly
30
bit of damage.
Oh, that's not good.
That's not pretty.
It's not ideal,
It's
to
not-
be certain.
It's not ideal whatsoever, but on the kind of bright side, Alex did use Knuckle Impact. He did not flip his GX counter, maybe saving it for a dangerous rogue, so that Buzzwole can't attack next turn. So that is something that I'm sure Joey is taking into consideration. Playing an Ultra Ball, I don't know, probably looking through. Where's my Mew?
It's sadly in the prizes, it seems, but he's
we've
possibly
seen him-
going just to see what it is.
Oh no, it's right
Oh, there
there.
it is.
There we are.
Found him.
There's my little 151. Which one was it in the Pokédex? I don't know.
151.
Yeah.
Oh, got me.
151.
Alright. So yeah, he's going to go ahead and Ultra Ball for that. Got rid of the Lurantis and the Grass
Do you really
Energy.
have no respect for Mew, Chris?
What?
Do you really have no respect for Mew?
I mean, it almost won me a League Cup last week.
I
respect it.
I'm saying nothing. He does grab the Mew out of his deck and put it in his hand, but a little cautious there. Is going to attach to the Golisopod.
Yep.
Oh,
Still a bit dicey for Joey, I think.
it's
He's
rough.
doesn't seem in a great position right now.
Oh, he has a Sycamore in hand.
Yeah, this
Oh.
looks. He's also got Guzma and Sycamore, so
Oh my goodness.
even though that Buzzwole can't be attacking right now, it's going to be able to
He has
attack
an Ultra
soon.
Ball.
Hits him 2 Ultra Balls off the.
You know what he could do is he could. What could he do? So here's what he could do. Actually, he could. No, I have to do math. I'm sorry. He has an Ultra Ball. Maybe he could get another Lycanroc and pull off a really weird Lycanroc Guzma play.
Those are spicy.
Those are very spicy.
Well, I've already seen one from him.
so-
There's the Lycanroc. There's the
And
Bloodthirsty
actually,
Eyes.
then Absorption would not be knockout, would it? 40, 80, 100, 200. It's 10 short, right?
Yes.
Darn.
Mm-hmm.
And
We-
so, he's considering playing the Sycamore.
He's playing the Sycamore.
There we go,
Yep.
energy, and he's going to go ahead and attach that to the Lycanroc GX, and there you have it. Alex Hill wins 2-1 in this quarterfinals and is advancing to our semifinals here at the Collinsville Regional Championships. Absolutely incredible play.